Hello students, welcome back to the English session. Students, in the last session we had studied the first part of the poem and now we are going to study the second part. This is a session for class 11 and I am Varinder Kaur Sekho, lecturer in English, Government Senior Secondary School, Machli Kalam. So students, as advised in the last session, the first thing that we should do is the recitation of the poem, then the critical analysis of the poem, followed by the exercises. So in this session, we will recapitulate the poem once again, we'll recite the poem once again, and at the end, we'll discuss all the questions and answers which are important for examination point of view. So, ready for the session? Okay, let's start. Poem Lines Written in Early Spring, second part, written by William Wordsworth. Let's read about William Wordsworth once again. William Wordsworth is one of the most important English poets and a founder of the Romantic movement in English literature. He lived in Lake District of northern England, which is renowned for its beautiful wild landscapes and countless lakes. Because of the area, he became known as a lakeland poet. So students, in the last session, we discussed some important words related to the poem. I hope you were able to understand. Let's do an exercise based on that. On the screen, there are some words as well as the meanings, but you have to match the words with their meanings. I give you a few seconds to do it. Quickly match the words with their meanings. Try to find out. The words are grove, blended, wreaths, periwinkle and primrose, thrill of pleasure, breezy, lament. Find out the meanings of these words given on the screen. Yes, students, I hope you have done. The meaning of grove: a small wood or a group of trees. Were you able to find out the meaning? Good. Blended. Blended means the musical notes mixed with one another to form a melodious tune. Wreaths. An arrangement of flowers, leaves, or stems fastened in a ring. Periwinkle and primrose. These are kinds of flowers. Two different kinds of flowers. Thrill of pleasure, giving great pleasure and excitement. Breezy, pleasantly windy. Windy means tez hawa chalna. Pleasantly windy means halki hawa. Lament, cries out in sorrow. So students, I hope you were able to match the words with their meanings. Let's read about the poem now. It's a recapitulation session, and for the sake of the students who might have missed the first session, so we are going to revise once again. This poem was included in the preface to Lyrical Ballads. Lines Written in Early Spring is a landscape poem that is largely concerned with nature. The poem is set in a landscape of beauty a small woodland grove. Wordsworth was inspired into writing this poem when he was walking near Alford, so the setting of the poem can be associated with the beautiful scenery of Alford. तो लैंडस्केप ऑफ ब्यूटी मीन्स बहुत ही सुंदर खूबसूरत नज़ारे दे विच पोइट ने इस पोएम दी कंपोजिशन की थी एंड दिस पोएम इज फुल ऑफ ब्यूटी, नेचुरल ब्यूटी. About the poem. The poet reclines in a beautiful grove surrounded by the blended notes of nature. The poet reclines means leisurely way ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਬੈਠੇ ਹੋਣਾ, like when you are sitting in the class or you are attending the lecture, you sit straight. But when you are watching TV or relaxing, then what is the body posture? You know very well how you sit on your bed, how you sit while watching TV. वो जड़ा तरीका है आरामदायक तरीके नाल बैठना, that is recline. The poet भी relax कर रहा है and he is reclining in a beautiful grove. एक बहुत खूबसूरत दरख्तां दा एक झुंड है और उसके आले दुआले बहुत मिठियां आवाज़ां आ रही हैं. Blended, we have just revised the word blended. मिश्रण, अलग अलग आवाज़ां दा mixture. And what are the notes of nature? केड़ियां आवाज़ां आंदियां ने when a person is sitting? किस तरह दियां? The sounds of birds, the sounds of insects. If you sit quietly in such an environment and you listen carefully, then you can hear many sounds. Even as he enjoys the scene, it inspires a melancholy mood and the speaker begins to have dark thoughts about humanity. So when the speaker is enjoying nature, he is filled with thoughts of melancholy. Melancholy means sadness, udasi. Udasi भरिया उसदे अंदर विचार आ रहे ने when he is thinking about humanity. Nature in this poem does everything right. It is man who has failed by rejecting nature. The perfection of nature seen vis-a-vis the conduct of humans saddens the poet. Vis-a-vis we use when we contrast, compare. So there is a comparison between perfection of nature and the behavior of human beings. And when you compare both of these, nature is still perfect, but the human beings, they have deteriorated. So this makes the poet very sad. Melancholy sets in because of the striking contrast between nature and humanity. So bitterness and sweetness go hand in hand in this poem. And the historical background of this poem is, at the time of writing, the French Revolution was raging through France. So stunned by the cruelty and the callousness of French society, he and other romantics wrote primarily to try and take back the world from the brink that it had been pushed to. So ਇਹ ਸਮਾਂ ਸੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਫ੍ਰੈਂਚ ਰੈਵੋਲੂਸ਼ਨ ਦਾ ਦੌਰ ਸੀ ਔਰ ਆਲੇ ਦੁਆਲੇ ਦੀ cruelty, ਬਰਬਾਦੀ ਨੂੰ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਹੋਏ poet ਨੇ ਇਹ poem ਲਿਖੀ. But that does not mean that this poem is related to that time only. This poem is related to today also, to all the times to come, till the human beings go back to nature. ਜਦੋਂ ਤੱਕ ਇਨਸਾਨ ਵਾਪਸ ਆਪਣੇ ਨੈਚੁਰਲ ਤਰੀਕਿਆਂ ਵਿੱਚ, ਜਿਵੇਂ ਨੇਚਰ ਨੇ ਇਨਸਾਨ ਨੂੰ ਬਣਾਇਆ, ਉਦੋਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਉਸ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਦਾ ਬਿਹੇਵੀਅਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰੇਗਾ. ਦਿਸ ਪੋਇਮ ਇਜ਼ going to present a contrast between the two. So it is not related to only a particular time, although it was written at that time, but it is applicable to all the times till man improves himself and goes back to his natural behavior. So students, let's recite the poem once again. I heard 1,000 blended notes while in a grove I sat reclined, in that sweet mood when pleasant thoughts bring sad thoughts to the mind. To her fair works did nature link the human soul that through me ran, and much it grieved my heart to think what man has made of man. Through primrose tufts in that green bower, the periwinkle trade its wreaths, and it's my faith that every flower enjoys the air it breathes. The birds around me hopped and played, their thoughts I cannot measure, but the least motion which they made, it seemed a thrill of pleasure. The budding twigs spread out their fan to catch the breezy air, and I must think, do all I can, that there was pleasure there. If this belief from heaven be sent, if such be nature's holy plan, have I not reason to lament what man has made of man? Students, lines written in early spring is written in quatrains, rhyming AB, AB. Quatrains means 4 lines, and the last word of the first line rhymes with the last word of the third line, and the last word of the second line rhymes with the last word of the fourth line. So this is called AB, AB. Like the quatrain in front of you, fan rhymes with can, air rhymes with there, scent rhymes with lament, and plan rhymes with man. So this is the rhyme scheme of the poem. Wordsworth sits in a small wood-lined grove surrounded by beauty and listens to the bird song around him. The second quatrain moves briefly away from nature to reminisce on the misery that humans have caused each other since time immemorial. Nature has formed a strong connection between itself and the soul of mankind, but man has repaid the favor by making a mess of his relations with his fellow man. Nature's soul is connected to humanity, but he has ignored it and deteriorated himself by indulging in wars and exploitation. And in the next quatrain, the presence of nature as a living thing strikes again, this time in the movement verbs like trailed for the periwinkle, breathes for the flowers. Throughout lines written in early spring, Wordsworth does his best to create the idea of a living, breathing world. It presents the natural world of birds and flowers as one of calm agreement and pleasure, contrasted with the failure of mankind to live in such harmony. So, nature the harmony ਦਾ contrast है with the disharmony in human beings. इंसान ਦੀ आपस ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ harmony ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ, whereas nature ਦੇ birds and the flowers and the trees ਇਹ ਸਾਰੇ ਕਿੰਨੀ harmony ਵਿੱਚ, ਕਿੰਨੇ ਤਾਲਮੇਲ ਵਿੱਚ, ਕਿੰਨੀ ਖੂਬਸੂਰਤ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਮਿਲ ਕੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਲੇ ਦੁਆਲੇ ਦੀ ਖੂਬਸੂਰਤੀ ਨੂੰ ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਵਧਾ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ. This is a very big contrast between humans and nature. और लास्ट ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ पोइट ਕੀ ਕਹਿ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ? Wordsworth ends lines written in early spring with the same lament that was mentioned earlier. Throughout the poem, there was the attempt by nature to heal the injured soul of the poet, speaker. Near the end, despite the best efforts of nature herself, the poet speaker's spirits are still melancholy and low in spite of the healing effect Wordsworth claimed nature possessed. It ends on a somber, sad note. The world of nature, untouched by the miseries of humanity, continues on, while the human soul is left behind to experience the misery of the human world. So poet ਦੀ ਇਹ poem बहुत ही एक उदासी वाले नोट ਤੇ एंड हो रही है. क्यों उदासी है? इंसान ਦਾ इंसान ਦੇ प्रति जो बिहेवियर है, जो क्रूएलिटी है, जो निर्दयता है, ਉਸ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ पोइट उदास है और ਨੇਚਰ ਵੀ ਉਸ ਦੀ ਇਸ ਉਦਾਸੀ ਨੂੰ ਦੂਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਪਾ ਰਹੀ, ਉਸ ਦਾ ਦਰਦ ਇੰਨਾ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਹੈ। ਸੋ ਇਹ ਇੱਕ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਦਾ ਰਿਬੈਲ ਵੀ ਹੈ ਅਗੇਂਸਟ ਦ ਬਿਹੇਵੀਅਰ ਆਫ ਮੈਨਕਾइंड। ਐਂਡ critical analysis of the poem is a ballad ਕੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ the ballad is a poem that is typically arranged in quatrains with the rhyme scheme ABAB, and ballads are usually narrative, and this poem is composed in the form of a ballad constituting 6 quatrains of 4 lines each. The total lines are 24. Alliteration is the repetition of the same sound, usually initial consonants of the words in any sequence of word. So these are the 2 examples of alliteration in the poem. What man has made of man, M, and M, occurring again and again. And in the second line, and it's my faith that every flower, F and F, repetition is there. So these are the examples of alliteration. We did it in session 1, and now we are just revising it. And I gave you the home assignment in the last session to write the central idea. Let's revise it, and you can check your answers also. It's not necessary that you use the same wording, but the crux should be the same. The poet reclines in a beautiful grove surrounded by the blended notes of nature. Even as he enjoys the scene, it inspires a melancholy mood, and the speaker begins to have dark thoughts about humanity. Nature in this poem do everything right. It is man who has failed by rejecting nature. The perfection of nature seen vis-a-vis the conduct of human saddens the poet. Melancholy sets in because of the striking contrast between nature and humanity. Poet says that man's separation from nature is the main cause of all evils and worries. So let's discuss the questions and answers. Question number 1. The poet describes a bittersweet moment. Why is the moment bittersweet? The moment is bitter because the poet is sad to find what man has made of man. But on the other hand, the moment is sweet also because of the beauty, sweetness and charm found in nature. So दो तरह ਦੀਆਂ feelings महसूस कर रहे हैं poet इस time. bitter भी, कड़वाहट भी है, मिठास भी है. मिठास कुदरत करके है, कड़वाहट इंसान करके है. Write a few lines about the simplicity of the language used in the poem. It is composed of only 6 4-line stanzas with an ABAB rhyme scheme for each stanza, and the words used in this poem are very simple but having a great depth. तो देखਣ ਨੂੰ poem बहुत simple लग रही है पर बहुत ही गहरा meaning है इस poem ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ. What abilities according to the poet does nature have? He personifies nature, giving her the ability to link herself to his soul and to experience pleasure. Its sights and sounds give pleasure to the human soul. So ਕੀ abilities हैं nature ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ? Nature ਕੀ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੀ ਹੈ? Nature connects to our soul, ਸਾਡੀ ਆਤਮਾ ਤੱਕ ਪਹੁੰਚਦੀ ਹੈ, and it gives us lots of pleasure. बहुत खुशी ਦਿੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਸਾਨੂੰ. What does the poet lament about? Poet किस गल ते उदास है? The poet laments the neglect of nature by man, and he is also sad that man has been cruel to mankind. How does the poet glorify nature? The poet appreciates the nature for her godlike abilities of linking a human soul to itself. The speaker appreciates nature's beauty. He finds delight in the green bowers and has faith that beautiful flowers enjoy the air they breathe. There is life in every object of nature. Give an example of personification of nature in the poem. So like ਜਿਵੇਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਡਿਸਕਸ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀ ਐਲਿਟਰੇਸ਼ਨ, ਤਾਂ personification is also a figure of speech. It means personification is a figure of speech by which animals, abstract ideas or inanimate things are referred to as if they were human. ਬੇਜਾਨ ਵਸਤੂਆਂ ਨੂੰ, ਖਿਆਲਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਜਾਂ in animals ਨੂੰ ਇਨਸਾਨੀ ਰੂਪ ਦੇ ਦੇਣਾ, that is called as personification. Person vyakti, personification vyakti roop dena. So what is the example of personification in this poem? And it's my faith that every flower enjoys the air it breathes. तो enjoy करना, enjoy कौन करता है? असी कोई अच्छी चीज़ खाते हैं या पीते हैं या देखते हैं तो असी enjoy करते हैं. तो the nature is also enjoying. Read the following lines and answer the questions that follow. This kinds of question you will be asked in your examination. There are 4 lines in front of you and some blanks. You have to find the answers and write down. So I give you some task. Quickly find out the answers from these lines only. Read the question and find the answer. Why is the poet grieved? Who wrote these lines? Name the poem in which these lines occur. List 2 pairs of rhyming words used by the poet in this passage. What does the poet mean by what man has made of man? We have discussed the poem in detail. I hope you will be able to write the answers in your copy. What are the fair works of nature referred to in this stanza? You can see the first line. To her fair works did nature link the human soul that through me ran. Okay. Let's see what the answers are. Name the poem and the poet. Here I have changed the sequence of the questions. These lines have been taken from the poem Lines Written in Early Spring, written by William Wordsworth. What are the fair works of nature referred to in the stanza? In the very first line it was written. So there are no fair works of nature mentioned in this stanza. However, there are several fair works mentioned in the poem. There are beautiful flowers like the primrose and the periwinkle. There are birds singing sweet songs and dancing with joys. All these are the fair works of nature. Why is the poet grieved? Poet क्यों दुखी है? The poet is grieved because man has harmed mankind by ignoring nature and running after materialistic things. ਪਦਾਰਥਵਾਦ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਨਸਾਨ ਇੰਨਾ ਉਲਝ ਗਿਆ ਹੈ, ਇੰਨਾ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਉਸਨੇ ਇਨਵੋਲਵ ਕਰ ਲਿਆ ਹੈ ਕਿ the man has moved away from nature, ignored nature. This has grieved the poet. List 2 pair of rhyming words used by the poet in this passage. So I take you back to the lines. Which are the rhyming words in the line? You can see A, B. Link rhymes with think, A. And ran rhymes with man, B. And this rhyme scheme is not only in these 4 lines, it is in all the quatrains, in all the stanzas. So this question you can face in exams also. So this is how you find the rhyme scheme. Think, ran, man. This is A, B. What does the poet mean by what man has made of man? This line has occurred twice in the poem, in the beginning as well as in the end, and its meaning is Wordsworth feels man has failed his fellow men, allowing them to starve from poverty and exploitation. Nature is always helpful, but man ignores the nature, acts selfishly, and ruins the happiness of mankind. Actually, this is the crux of the whole poem also. Wordsworth says that nature is always in harmony. Nature ਦੇ all products ਇੱਕ ਦੂਸਰੇ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਮਿਲ ਜੁਲ ਕੇ harmoniously exist ਕਰਦੇ हैं. But what is man doing? What man is involved in exploitation, exploiting others, and always working for their own benefit. What man has made of man? This is the cry of his heart. And it also has a deep message for us. Ki let us think about it. Let us go back to nature. Because if poetry does not does not make us reflect, does not bring us an improvement in our life, then I think there is no use of studying poetry. So poetry is not only, as I told you in the beginning also, students, we study poetry not only for the point of view of examination, we study poetry for improvement in our life also. So this session was presented by Varinder Kaur Sekhon, lecturer in English, Government Senior Secondary School, Machli Kala District, Mohali, Punjab. So students, let's wind up the poem. Let's revise it once again. What man has made of man? इंसान ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕੀ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ? ਕੀ ਇਹ ਜਾਇਜ਼ ਹੈ? ਕੀ ਕੁਦਰਤ ਨੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇਦਾਂ ਹੀ ਬਣਾਇਆ ਸੀ? ਕੀ ਕੁਦਰਤ ਨੇ ਸਾਡੀ ਰਚਨਾ ਇਸੇ ਲਈ ਕੀਤੀ ਸੀ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਸਰੇ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਨੂੰ ਐਕਸਪਲੋਇਟ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ? No. God created nature and God created man. And if nature is still in harmony, if nature is still giving us happiness and beauty, then why has man deviated from that path? I end this session with this question, students. Think about it, reflect on it, and live in harmony as nature. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the poem and learned a lesson also. Make it a part of your life. And as I said in the beginning, poetry should be enjoyed more than its study, and it should also bring about a change in you. Thank you so much. Keep studying, keep growing. Thank you so much.